Hello everyone, my name is Tiara Pitts and I am in the Masters of Arts and Interdisciplinary Studies programs in OWLS here at Texas State University, and I will be giving a presentation on my application of human systems content over the film The Pursuit of Happyness. I am someone who didn't think I had much prior knowledge about organizations and complex adaptive systems or complex responsive processes. I was involved with sports and played basketball throughout college, which I found out in this course that my team can be looked at as a system. The idea that there is a collaboration of parts and components, including the team, coaches, managers, fans, the arena, and other things that are under sequences and hierarchies that interact with each other for a purpose of winning games, making profit, and contributing to a society is how it can be related to a system. In this slide, I cited the book and included the different citations that include the page numbers of the chapters that helped me with being able to apply what I learned from the book to this movie. Throughout this presentation, I have introduced myself and my knowledge on being able to discuss organizations, presented my APA formatted citations, and I will cover the summary of the film that I chose and go over the application of how this movie directly correlates to subjects that were covered throughout the course and the book. Chris Gardner, the main character, was going through parts of his life and how he made it through poverty and continued to work towards his dreams. He was in a contract where he had to sell his medical devices, but at this point in time they were being denied by hospitals, and he was being told by hospitals that they were unnecessary luxuries. He had to sell 2 machines a month in order to pay his rent and monthly expenses. He was very unsuccessful in selling them and lost his car, and his wife ended up leaving him because she was unhappy and tired of having to work double shifts just to keep them above water. Chris chose to keep his son and began to battle homelessness with his 5-year-old son by his side. Chris fought for many months to keep money in his pocket and stumbled across an opportunity of an unpaid internship at a prestigious brokerage firm that he believed would get him closer to reaching his goal of becoming a stockbroker. Chris and his son endured many hardships, but Chris refused to give up and relentlessly worked to create a better life for himself and his son. Through everything he went through, he still ended up becoming a stockbroker. I think that the biggest lesson from this film shows us that it's not enough to just have a dream. You have to have the courage and confidence in yourself to pursue it. The first correlation that I was able to make came in chapter 12 of the book in the section that was talking about Hegel's beliefs about how someone's mind or consciousness is manifested in social institutions, meaning that the ways of life gives identity to individuals. In the film, the main character really struggled, which began to give him a very strong identity that the firm was unable to ignore. Hegel stated that each person is purposely directing themselves, but is also dependent at the same time. Chris was very hardworking and did the things that he needed to do, but he was still dependent on the firm recognizing his skills in order for him to receive the job. The second similarity I was able to come across was how in Mead's theory he explained that self-consciousness refers to the ability of an individual to reflect upon themselves as an object, to take themselves as a me as well as an I. According to Mead, this ability arises from the social interactions that individuals have with others, where they learn to take their perspectives of others and anticipate how they will react to their own behavior. This was something that Chris dealt with daily while being at the internship and having to interact with people and listen to what they wanted and then respond in a way that would successfully make them come over to his company. Mead's theory of self-consciousness is based on the idea that individuals develop a sense of self through the process of symbolic interaction. This involves the use of language and other symbols to communicate with others, which allows individuals to interpret the meaning of their actions and the actions of others. Lastly, I was able to think about when Chris asked the man outside of the building he ended up completing the internship at about how he did and what he did, and he was thinking that he needed to have a college degree, and it reminded me of something else that went along with social interactions and how individuals engage in social interactions and learn to take the perspectives of others. They develop a sense of themselves as an object, or the me. This allows them to reflect on their behavior and how it is perceived by others. At the same time, individuals also have an I, which represents their unique subjective experience and spontaneity. He learned from this random man's perspective that all you had to do in order to be a stockbroker was to be good at math, and he let that fuel his confidence in believing that he could accomplish it as well. This simple conversation was able to be something that shared knowledge and created a place that Chris felt like he could be included. Later in the movie, when Chris showed up to the interview fresh out of jail wearing clothes that were not appropriate in front of some of the owners of the company, he was still able to convince them that even though he had anxiety surrounding being able to receive the internship, there was no real reason for him to be excluded. My overall conclusion of this movie is that I really enjoyed this film. I had watched it before many years ago, but watching it again and refreshing my memory, it provided me with a great feeling of gratitude. And I think that this film will be able to teach young people, along with adults, very valuable life lessons. It is a very heartfelt movie that encourages you to never give up, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone if they hadn't seen it already. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.